substantive points made by Sanjay Jha on being a spineless government.
See, Navika, you have very senior people like Gurcharan ji sitting in the panel, and they will tell you that India's policy of energy purchase has been announced long back, that it is a pragmatic policy. हमको जहां सस्ता मिलेगा, जहां हमारा interest सब होगा, हम वहां से खरीदेंगे. Every spot and commercial purchase is not announced by India. But if somebody like the President of America is going out of his way to offer us the Venezuelan oil, you should in fact see that this is the strength of India. कि भाई इंडिया की ताकत देखो. We said that we will do the trade deal only when our agricultural interests are taken care of. We did not listen about the Russian oil. We have only gone and been governed by the commercial interests, and we are taking the decision based on the national interests of India. And even if in your view that American president is saying it for the Venezuelan oil, so it should be seen that how India has become powerful, that everybody is chasing. Somebody saying mother of oil deals कर दिया, कोई बोल रहा है कि हमारा तेल अभी आप खरीदेंगे. तो मुझे तो लगता है this is a great recognition of India being on the high table. पर संजय झा की दृष्टि एंटी वुमेन एंड एंटी इंडिया, क्या करें?
Well, let's look at some breaking news that's coming in, ladies and gentlemen. Fresh details are now coming in from Mumbai from a firing incident that took place late last night at filmmaker Rohit Shetty's residence. According to police sources, the accused arrived near Rohit Shetty's house on a motorcycle. There was only one shooter involved in the incident. About 4 rounds are expected or understood to have been fired. The accused parked the bike at some distance, then walked towards the tower, opened fire, and then fled the spot immediately. Any arrests being made? Well, we'll go across to Rucha joining us live from Mumbai. Rucha, what is the latest that you can tell us? Has security been beefed up? Has there been absolutely any information on who this accused is, and what was the nature of this attack?
Well, currently the team of Juhu police is here along with the crime branch team, and they are currently recording statements of all those eyewitnesses who were present here when the attack took place, when the firing took place. And even now we are seeing a high deployment of Mumbai police, and currently from auto driver to the guards on gate, they are recording their statements with the crime branch. And what we are learning that one person was responsible for this attack. The man, unidentified man who was riding a motorcycle, he parked the bike on a short distance and then walked here, fired on the premises and the building of Rohit Shetty, and then immediately he fled away. Now, if we talk about the investigation, more than 100 CCTV footages are being reviewed by the Mumbai police, and there are lots of security cameras, including those which are inside the premises of Rohit Shetty's Shetty Tower, and also all those who were present here on streets are also being questioned because if we
can
look
see
at
some
area,
bullet marks on the walls and on the glass. Can you tell our cameraman to actually show those bullet marks? Yes, that's one. On which floor is the bullet on that glass as we're seeing it from here?
Well, if we look at the wall, the compound wall of the building, one shot can be seen, a mark of bullet can be seen. Another mark is visible on the glass on first floor. The attack was on ground and first floor. Along with that, if we look at some distance below the glass, there's another mark where we can see a white mark on wall. 3 shots are visible where the gun was fired, and more than 3 include actually 5 gunshots were fired, out of which 3 are clearly visible. And fortunately, nobody was in the balcony when the gun was fired. No one is reported injured in this entire incident. But what we are also learning is that Rohit Shetty was very much present in his residence when the attack took place. So we are learning the attack attack was attempted at 2:30 a.m. when Rohit Shetty was present inside the building. The family was also here, and
well, that is a rather disturbing development we are getting from Mumbai in Juhu, where police still investigating. 5 rounds being fired at Rohit Shetty filmmaker's residence, and very clear bullet marks being seen on the balcony on the first floor, on the boundary walls. Still awaiting the first arrest in this case. CCTV being looked at very, very closely by police officials at this moment, even as we speak. Thank you, Rucha, for joining us. With that, we'll slip into a short break. More budget updates coming up on the other side. Don't go anywhere, because the final countdown begins even as Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman heads for the cabinet meeting to first brief her colleagues on what this budget has. Short break, back soon. Don't go anywhere. Just wait.
When the alarm goes off, the morning news turns on. From politics to global news, sports and entertainment, to videos that go viral on social media. We cover it all. Every morning that matters you first comes only on the morning news app.
The Amrita MBA. The Amrita MBA is more than a degree. It's a transformational journey that blends academic rigor with real-world relevance. With fully residential campuses across India, Amrita's business schools stand apart for their academic excellence and international recognition. Apply now. Amrita MBA.
She asks tough questions like no other journalist.
Rupee volatility driven by global markets, domestic mismanagement or tax. Global. Domestic mismanagement to ho hi nahi sakti, you'll never confess.
It was supposed to be one nation, one tax. It became something like one nation, 9 taxes.
She takes on the masters of Indian politics like no one else can.
Why does the Congress party live in denial of this? That this was done on religious lines and then killing them. Biggest difference working in the UPA government and the NDA government.
Because she speaks for you the way no one else can.
Are you saying Jeffrey Epstein was murdered?
Because your voice must be heard, your questions answered, above all else. Frankly Speaking with Navika Kumar.
I carve the news blueprint of the day, one that chases the news course of the day, a course that is defiant, relevant, and persistent. I deliver the elusive truth and find justice. The stories here aren't just plain. They are a blueprint of what's explosive and exclusive. Watch Blueprint Explosive Exclusive every weekday at 6:30 p.m. only on Times Now.
When the nation demands clarity,
We cut through the noise to bring you the real story. Unbiased, unfiltered, unstoppable. On the ground, where it matters the most. With insights that go beyond the headlines. We connect the dots so you see the bigger picture. From every corner of the nation.
We are your voice. We are Times Now.
The faces you trust. The news you believe. Only on Times Now.
Debates that result in new ideas. Discourse that informs and inspires.
I ask the legitimate question and uncover the whole truth.
Voicing citizens' concerns and using the truth to demand answers.
Unmissable prime time. 8 to 11 p.m. Times Now. Action begins here.
Debates that result in new ideas. Discourse that informs and inspires.
I ask the legitimate question and uncover the whole truth.
Voicing citizens' concerns and using the truth to demand answers.
Unmissable prime time. 8 to 11 p.m. Times Now. Action begins here.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are now looking at visuals of Prime Minister Narendra Modi arriving at Parliament for the cabinet meeting, expected to begin any time now. In fact, in this cabinet meeting, Nirmala Sitharaman, Finance Minister, will apprise her cabinet colleagues of what exactly are the headline takeaways, and I'd love to be a fly on the wall. I've always wanted to be, never quite made it inside as a fly on the wall. Yeah, I would have got swatted. Yes, you're right, Jaggi. This is Home Minister Amit Shah arriving at Parliament right ahead of the cabinet meeting. Anticipation high, not reading much from the smiles because the smiles never give anything away. It is an election year. For any party to stay in power, winning elections is the most important thing. But can it really happen at the cost of the economy? Can Finance Minister afford to be populist when prudence is the need of the hour is a question that we all need to ask tonight. You know, I can almost tell you what the opposition is going to say when they come out after the budget presentation, because that statement hasn't changed ever. They will say it's a lackluster budget, does nothing for the poor, increases income inequalities, no big ticket idea to increase India's growth rate, and blah, blah, blah. Am I wrong when I say this? But before I take a rain check on that, question tonight is also, freebies have only grown chiller in recent times. They've managed to do it in various states. It is competitive freebie promises that have gone on in every elections. And now we have 4 crucial states that are going for elections, 1 union territory. Our SOP's going to be the order of the hour. Something that should worry us all, because we're looking at correction, reforms, and looking at the economy on breaking away from the shackles and moving forward. What is the one thing I want to ask my panel? What is the one thing, Monica, that you think we will need to look at? Freebies, total no-no, but do you think Nirmala Sitharaman will be able to avoid the pressure?
I think the story has shifted to the states. You know, it's like, you know, parents have done a good job, they've skimped and saved. But of all the kids, there are some who are just splurging without a thought for what the state deficits look like. Even in terms of implementation of a lot of things, I think the ball is firmly in the state's court right now. So she will continue as a good lady at the head of the financial ecosystem to do very conservative deficit numbers. That 4.4 is going to be achieved. So I think we are looking at this consolidation of the finance to continue. We are going to continue to see the capital investments happen, but there is a capacity limit to what the center can do. The implementation has to be in the states. So I think the story firmly should be with the states right now.
Anand Ranganathan.
I have a different view. I think it's not just the states that are to be blamed. It is the center that is encouraging this freebism. If you look at the on the eve of Bihar elections, that 10,000 one-off thing, it was dictated by none other than Narendra Modi. If you look at Maharashtra elections, all those schemes, you can call it freebism, you can call it whatever by any other name. But the fact of the matter is the freebism culture is directly from top down. It is not from bottom up. So yes, the states have to tighten the belt, but more than that, it's the center that needs to do that.
Absolutely, Jaggi.
So I don't expect any freebies this time, even though we have 4 or 5 major elections.
There will be infrastructure project X,
yes,
Y, Z in Tamil Nadu, in West Bengal.
I have no quarrel if you want to set up infrastructure in Tamil Nadu or Assam or West Bengal. You know, what's wrong with that? It's a good thing. That's not a freebie. It will improve the capacities of those economies. What I don't expect is the kind of pre-election freebies that we saw before Delhi elections and various things, which is like all the tax things and all that. But of course, even the tax relief was not a freebie, but it's a good thing to do. But what I'm trying to say is the important thing you need to do, I mean, I partly agree with Monica on that, states have to do, but even more than the states, the most disempowered part of government is local bodies. Why is it that Maharashtra's Bombay or Chennai, or they have such atrocious infrastructure. I mean, one wrong thing that happened with GST was that all these fellows lost their revenue buoyancy on their own. Now they get largest from states, which is why you see most of these rural ministers want to sit on the urban development department and make money from that instead of actually improving the infrastructure in the states. So the empowerment and financing of urban bodies, which is the clue to jobs. You're not going to get jobs in rural areas. You're going to get jobs in urban areas. And if urban infrastructure is improved...
Absolutely, and it's a crying need because, yes, our urban infrastructure reeks like hell. And that's the point many people make. We are paying taxes. What are we getting? Our drains don't function. Our colony roads. You may have built airports. You may have built highways. Fair. But outside my house, the road is in a dilapidated condition. Pani aata nahi hai. We've seen the Indore. Absolutely. Will there be something on the urban?
Latian zone is fine, Navika.
We are not in the Latian zone. Only the mantris are. Well, and opposition leaders. Rohit Azad.
I mean, this argument about freebies, and I think difference of opinion is good in a democracy because otherwise, same opinion, everybody holds. What's the point?
Rohit, you don't have to be defensive. Just
no, I'm not. I'm going to go on the offensive.
Difference of opinion is exactly what makes
Navika,
everybody
I'm going to go on the offensive. So that's the reason. I think when there's a class bias there. When it is given out to the poor, it's a freebie. When there's a corporate tax cut, it's called an incentive. If you have a position on government not spending, then it should be consistent. You do it for all. You say that it's a freebie for the corporate, withdraw that. If you say it's a freebie for the poor, withdraw that. But you can't say that freebie is fine, but this one is not.
Agreed.
That is an inconsistent position to take. Absolutely. That is very important. Secondly, I think it is important to also see, whichever name you want to give it, the impact of that has been on the economy. You have given a freebie, and I called it the freebie, to the corporate sector. The economic survey has been saying that you have not responded for the last 4 years. That tax cut was given to you in 2018-19. That was a freebie, but nobody talks about that. When it goes to the poor people who are also generating demand in the economy, then you have a problem because we belong to a class who would always like of this growth, some bit to come here, but not go to the poor. That's wrong economics.
Not true, but yes, it's a mixed bag. There are political compulsions and there is good economics in all of this. And
Navika, 10 seconds, because
10 seconds, you've never spoken anything, Anand Ranganath.
there is nothing that Rohit had said that is wrong.
Voice.
I completely agree with him. But the fact is, somebody has to draw that line between what is welfareism and what is freebism. There are some things that are absolutely freebism, like MSP is freebism, like having government ads is freebism.
Got it wrong.
Like,
No,
for example,
you got it
old
wrong.
pension scheme reversion is freebism.
No,
let me please.
Sure.
I never interrupted
go ahead.
you. You see, you have the government mandated limit for buffer capacity how much government can procure food grains as about 40 million tons. It hovers around 25 million tons. You know what our procurement was 2 years ago? 100 million tons. Politicians don't have the heart or the guts to refuse procuring. Every year, we keep on procuring more and more of the food grains because we give MSP.
And then that
don't have enough storage capacity.
And then
Navika, can I respond to that?
Do we procure other products?
Just
Why
1
only
second.
MSP?
Okay.
Get others also. Procure more.
Achha,
but the reason,
also.
One second. Now let me respond.
Okay.
Stocks are high. Stocks of food grains are high because you're not distributing. You procure, but you don't distribute. That is a problem.
80 million for 80 crores.
If your public distribution system you dismantle, then you don't distribute. That is exactly why your stocks are high. MSP provides...
it's the chicken and egg, and 80 crore people are being given. Distribution is happening. Are we still, collecting more? That's another point. But there are some worries in the economy. And for me, the worries in the economy, Gursharan Das, are the fact that private investment is just not picking up. Number two, HNIs, high net worth individuals, are leaving the country. Is there a connection between the two? Is there a problem that is happening there and a problem that needs to be addressed?
I think the fundamental issue really is the way, what I mean is the mindset of the bureaucracy. It's not policies. Yeah. It is the fact that the mindset, the bureaucracy's incentive system of the bureaucracy as I said earlier, is to say no, and is to treat the person, the taxpayer or whoever is on the other side, in the old colonial way of law and order, of lack of distrust. That's why I think the best word that has been uttered in the last few months in the corridors of Delhi is trust-based compliance. That really has been music to my ears, because for the first time, these deregulation commissions, who I hope will create a bonfire, a real bonfire of those regulations, which they are, and decriminalize most of them and digitize most of them. That is what we are expecting. So there is good news, I think. There is good news that we could move towards and just to the point earlier on, we think of freebies as, yes, very correctly, that freebies take the place of investment that would create jobs, rather than giving instant gratification to anyone. What we don't realize is how badly the state finances are. Nobody is talking about that. The finances of many states have become dire. And that means they can't do. Where is the job? How can they create jobs when your finances are gone? And those
Absolutely, I agree with you. Couldn't agree with you more. But opening up this discussion forward, joining me this morning is an August panel, Gaurav Vallabh of the BJP, man, and he is also a part-time member of the Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council. And Gaurav Vallabh ji, I want to ask you, many are talking about the fact that while growth is robust and in the context of the geopolitical situation, we are doing better than many of the neighboring economies and the fast-growing bigger countries. The fact of the matter is private investment not picking up is a huge worry, number one. Number two, elections that we have every now and then, which really gets down to how we can woo voters, taking away a lot of the fiscal discipline at the state level, at the center level. And number three, there is always this conversation of high net worth individuals leaving the country. How do you respond to some of these three issues that need to be addressed, probably in this budget?
Yes. See, Navika ji, all 3 points which you had raised are interlinked and interconnected to each other. And I will give you one by one response to all the 3 points. Number one, you asked about the private investment. It's correct that government's capex is in the last budget announced was 11,21,000 crores. But in the same way, the private sector capex is not growing up. It's growing. It's not deaccelerating. It's going up, but it is not at the same pace. Just to give you one data to understand this, that in 2014, the public capex in the budget by the government of India was somewhere around 4 lakh crore. And last year we had 11.21 lakh crore, 11,21,000 crore. So the same growth is not there in the private capex. There are 3 reasons. And I was listening to the members in your panel. One of the reasons pointed out by one of the learned panelists is the regulatory environment, the ease of doing business, and the predictability of the laws. So this is an issue on which government is consistently working. Already labor reforms are already initiated by government in the form of the 4 labor codes. The land reforms are in the pipeline. So what I used to say 3L, land, labor and legal reforms. So this is going to improve the private capex. And consistently we are reforming the land, labor and the legal side. In legal side, my focus is on the execution of the contracts and the decriminalization of some of the laws which are there. This is for the point number 1. Point number 2, you asked about freebies and the state of the states in our country. See, I slightly differ with the panelists because I was listening for last 10 minutes. We have two kinds or two broad categories of freebies. The freebies which are permanent and which doesn't create infrastructure or which doesn't create job, and the freebies which are temporary and which is a hand holding and which creates infrastructure or which creates a job, like G Ramji. So giving 125 days right to every rural family of employment is not freebie as per me, because it creates rural infrastructure. Point number two, like scholarships in the schools, it's not freebie as per me, because it creates a intellectual capital for the country. But there are certain freebies. I don't want to enter into the political discussion today, but there are certain freebies which are for the political reasons, for the election reasons. So they are not giving the long-lasting impact or the positive impact on to the economy. But certain freebies are very much required, like Kisan Samman Nidhi. I don't consider that as a freebie. I consider that as a hand-holding, and it improves the consumption in the rural economy. And that takes the GDP to the next level, because your primary question was that why Indian economy is growing at 7.4%, whereas the other countries of the world like United States is right now growing at less than 2%, China somewhere around 4%, South Asian economies somewhere around 5%, but we are growing at 7.4%, and that is the basic reason that our consumption pattern is rotating the economy. When in the last budget up to 12.75 lakh of income, it was exempted, the consumption got improved. In the GST rate rationalization, when GST of all essential commodities were slashed, the consumption were improved. And just to give you a data, after the income tax deductions and the GST rate rationalization, the total consumption additional in the economy is 5.25 lakh crore. So that is driving the economy. 140 crore people's consumption is taking the economy to the next level, and that is now becoming the core strength of our country. And so when you are going to improve the consumption, then naturally the demand is going to arise. When demand is going to arise, the private investment is going to improve. So private investment in last 4-5 years got down, first of all 2 years because of Corona. Then after that it started increasing, but rate was not very encouraging. But now it is going to match the public capex.
Well, that's a hope. That's a hope, Gaurav Vallabhji. But people have been talking about tax terrorism on this panel. The fact that ED, income tax, tax compliances, rather invasive, which is why a lot of businessmen like to operate out of maybe Dubai or somewhere else. HNIs are leaving this country, and that's a truth the government will have to face.
There is no tax terrorism. In fact, the tax laws were oversimplified. The new Income Tax Act is already there. It's oversimplified. If you ask any SSE, a common SSE, that had you received any information from the income tax after filing the return, he will say, yes, we received a SMS that received this, assessment is completed. So that kind of, and after the faceless initiatives in the income tax, there is nothing. And even if somebody wants to do tax terrorism, the policy will not allow you to do that. And coming to the HNIs,
then obviously you are in a country that we are not seeing much about. Anand, I'm coming to you, but I have Mr. Nirmala Sitharaman joining me from the CII headquarters. He is co-chairman of the CII Trade Policy Council and CII International Council. Mr. Sitharaman, what are you expecting from this budget after the spate of FTAs that we've seen? Do you see private investment going up? Do you expect anything from the finance minister?
Morning, Navika. Definitely, we are looking at a big fillip for manufacturing and exports. There's also going to be a lot of focus on supply chain de-risking of imports. We're looking forward to all of that. we have to recognize that our merchandise trade deficit is almost 7% of GDP with $280 billion, and that is unsustainable for a country of our size. So definitely there's a need to expand exports, and we look forward to policy initiatives from the finance minister as part of the budget.
Yes, we are looking forward for that, but Anand Ranganathan has a question for you, Gaurav Vallabhji, but before he comes in, my question is what the Congress is asking today. Should we be hearing about the Venezuela oil deal from President Trump, or should the government have announced it on its own?
Can I take Anand's question also, because then I will respond?
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Vallabh. No, I just wanted very quick two questions. Yes, you say Kisan Samman Nidhi is welfare. Why isn't there a Doctor Samman Nidhi or a Jawan Samman Nidhi? And second question is, according to you, the government ad budget that you see government splashing every day, congratulating people on their birthdays and everything in newspapers, in the last 10 years, the central government ad budget is 10,000 crores. Do you think that is welfare or that is freebism?
I'm sorry, I seriously object to this. I only want these ads to be more on television than on newspapers. So you may ignore question number 2. Please answer the other 2 questions.
Navika ji, is it not true, and everybody will agree, is it not true that as far as the large economies of the world is concerned, India is the fastest growing economy, with a growth rate of 7.4% for FY26 and projected growth rates for FY27, 28 and 29 by all multilateral agencies 7+%. Is it not true that inflation in the economy, and I am talking about the retail inflation, is somewhere around 4%? Is it not true that fiscal deficit targets of 4.4% of GDP is achieved? Is it not true that our exports had reached to $800 billion with a growth of service exports of plus 6.5% and merchandise export to plus 2.5%? Is it not true that our foreign exchange reserves are $700+ billion, which is equivalent to 11 months import?
Answer my question on the Venezuelan oil deal.
Very strong foundation base. So I am coming to that. So opposition parties are there just to ask some questions or other, but they only told our economy as dead economy. Now, people who are seeing this economy as a dead economy, all their questions are irrelevant, Navika ji. जिसको चकाचौंध रोशनी में सूर्य भगवान के अंदर भी अंधेरा दिखता है, वो क्या उनके सवालों का क्या महत्व है? जो सूर्य पे पहुंच के बोलता है बहुत अंधेरा हो रहा है, तो फिर उनके सवालों का कोई महत्व नहीं रह जाता है.
चलिए, तो फिर आनंद जी के सवाल का जवाब दे दीजिए कि लॉयर सम्मान निधि, डॉक्टर सम्मान निधि, जर्नलिस्ट सम्मान निधि,
वो बहुत है. जर्नलिस्ट सम्मान निधि बहुत है.
अच्छा, ठीक है.
आनंद, I wish Professor Samman Nidhi भी होनी चाहिए, because that is also going to benefit you and many professors. So coming to your question, Anand, hand holding किनकी की जाती है? किनका हाथ पकड़ के जो रफ्तार से इतना आगे जिनको ग्रोथ का फायदा नहीं मिलता, उनका हाथ पकड़ा जाता है. When I say 7.4% growth, and if the entire country, some people are left, we require to hold their hand. So this is not revdi, this is not freebie. This is something to improve the rural consumption and take the people in the growth yatra. विकास की यात्रा में कोई भी पीछे नहीं छोड़ना चाहिए. And that is what the inclusive development and Modinomics is. जब आप 55 करोड़ लोगों के खाते खुलवाते हो, इसी को इंक्लूसिव इकोनॉमिक्स कहते हैं. जब आप मुद्रा स्कीम के तहत बिना कोलेट्रल के लोन देते हो, यही इंक्लूसिव इकोनॉमिक्स है और यही वेलफेयर इकोनॉमिक्स है. But Revdi, I agree with the point which you raised before I joined the panel, but because I was hearing you, that some only for political reasons. Just 10 days before or 5 days before the election announcement, you announced something. I personally as economist I am not.
आप बिहार की बात तो नहीं कर रहे. आपकी सरकार ने बिहार में बहुत कुछ ऐसा किया था. महाराष्ट्र चुनाव से पहले किया था, हरियाणा में किया था. A. Saravanan of the DMK also joining this broadcast. Mr. Saravanan.
Yes.
Also joining me is the Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson Anmol Pawar. Welcome to this broadcast this morning. Pradeep Bhandari joining the panel with Sanjay Jha as well. Saravanan ji, chapter and verse has been said about freebies being bad. Do you think there will be no freebies? And are you under some sort of a sweaty tension because Tamil Nadu elections are coming up? Will Nirmala Sitharaman ji take away the wind out of your sails by announcing something big for Tamil Nadu?
Yeah, see, firstly, calling that as a freebie, I think is an insult. Whatever it is a welfare measure. When you give a 7% tax cut for corporates, it is hailed. And what have they done? You were discussing about declining private investment. We have given them a tax cut, and 3 lakh crores has been the loss for the government in the last how much ever time that has gone, minimum of 3 lakh crores. No private investments. And where did all the money go? All went away. And people are fleeing the country because they are not able to retain the money, or they don't see value in India's future. That is the kind of economy the BJP has built. If this is one aspect. The other aspect is, when you give something into the hands of the poor, they cannot flee this country. They have to be here. That money has to be spent in the economy, which will in fact spur consumption. I don't know how these people, without understanding these basic economics, insult as freebies, and how can a freebie be given and all that. So it depends. If somebody from the higher strata of the society is given tax cut, is given waiver on loan, it is hailed. But when it is given to the lowest strata of the society in form of 1,000 rupee or a 2,000 rupee, it is a freebie and it will spoil the culture. Prime Minister course corrected. He said revenue culture is spoiling the economy of this country. Then he may ensure that every BJP state in this country is following what Tamil Nadu is doing, the Dravidian model of governance. We have started this. We ensured that 1,000 rupee it should be given.
So
to
there will be a Dravidian growth
across.
There will be a Dravidian growth, and for the Aryan growth, we will have to ask Pradeep Bhandari, Aryan growth kya hogi? Because Saravanan ji is only responsible for Dravidian growth. You know, are we looking at a new kind of politics and economics? Well, we'll debate that after this very short break. I know it's absolutely not my view that we should take a break at this point, but kya kare? Small break, coming back in just the next 120 seconds. Don't go anywhere.
The Amrita MBA. The Amrita MBA is more than a degree. It's a transformational journey that blends academic rigor with real-world relevance. With fully residential campuses across India, Amrita's business schools stand apart for their academic excellence and international recognition. Apply now. Amrita MBA.
When the nation demands clarity,
We cut through the noise
to bring you the real story.
Unbiased, unfiltered, unstoppable. On the ground, where it matters the most.
With insights that go beyond the headlines. We connect the dots so you see the bigger picture.
From every corner of the nation.
We are your voice, we are Times Now.
The faces you trust. The news you believe. Only on Times Now.
I carve the news blueprint of the day. One that chases the news course of the day. A course that is defiant, relevant, and persistent. I deliver the elusive truth and find justice. The stories here aren't just plain. They are a blueprint of what's explosive and exclusive. Watch Blueprint Explosive Exclusive every weekday at 6:30 p.m. only on Times Now.
She asks tough questions like no other journalist.
Rupee volatility driven by global markets, domestic mismanagement or tax. Global. Domestic mismanagement to ho hi nahi sakti. You'll never confess.
It was supposed to be one nation, one tax. It became something like one nation, 9 taxes.
She takes on the masters of Indian politics like no one else can.
Why does the Congress party live in denial of this? That this was done on religious lines and then killing them. Biggest difference working in the UPA government and the NDA government.
Because she speaks for you the way no one else can.
Are you saying Jeffrey Epstein was murdered?
Because your voice must be heard, your questions answered, above all else. Frankly Speaking with Navika Kumar.
For over 30 years, my journalism has been relentless, fearless, and uncompromising. My stories have breached lofty ivory towers and brought down the high and mighty. And I won't stop.
When the clock strikes 9, it is time for the news hour. Navika Kumar asks the legitimate question.
When your rights are trampled, I will be your voice, demanding answers from the corridors of power.
Welcome back to this broadcast for budget, and we have now exactly 29 minutes before Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman stands up in Parliament to present her budget on a Sunday, which is the February 1st, and her budget is going to be different from other budgets because this time Part B is not just about some tax tinkering here and there. It is about long-term and short-term goals. What we are also getting to hear at the moment is that there is going to be a strong emphasis on youth-centric schemes in this budget. Yes, the Prime Minister has often said that it is the youth dividend in this country that is a key focus area, and skill development will be something that will be the focus. Going across to Madhav Das Gopalakrishnan, Madhav, youth, a big part of also the voter base. I'm sorry, I'm not being cynical, but youth is the dividend that the Prime Minister has often spoken about.
Absolutely. Youth is one big, in fact, area and focus as far as this government is concerned. And clearly, of course, as far as the focus areas is concerned, spending on youth, sports is one area where we could see, in fact, likely schemes. What are these youth-centric schemes, though? We will have to look at. Skill development is also something that has been spoken about a lot over the last 11 years. How are we going to achieve those goals as far as skill development continue to remain? And in fact, how we will be able to achieve these goals? Perhaps the budget will be able to throw more light. So what really will be the allocation for international tournaments? We've looked at, of course, the Commonwealth Olympics, our great Olympic dreams
Commonwealth
as well.
and Olympics coming up, so there's going to be a big push to that infrastructure. More breaking news coming in at this moment, and that's on the GST front. Hina, what is it that you're hearing?
Well, the numbers are going to be officially released soon, but what we have learned that there's going to be at least a 6% increase in the gross GST collections for January. Now, this is important, Navika, because after the GST next-gen reforms were announced before Diwali, that was the last time when our GST collections were above 1.9 lakh crores. They were 1.96 lakh crore. From that month, they started falling. November, it was 1.70 lakh crore. December, it fell to, again, 1.75. In January, we are expecting it to be around 1.93 lakh crore rupees. So a big boost there coming in, some more money for the finance minister to spend.
Well, more money, and will it go to Tamil Nadu? It's a question that I want to ask Pradeep Bhandari. And Pradeep Bhandari, Sarvanan says the Dravidian growth model is better. Do you have an alternative Aryan growth model? Because he may have a point, because Tamil Nadu among the best performing states as far as investment is concerned.
Well, Navika ji, we have a Viksit Bharat 2047 model, and I will not take the DMK spokesperson very seriously because his alliance partner Congress has only questioned him on his economic management. So first he should get an approval from his alliance partner, then he will have a response from me. But a larger point.
For once you are supporting the Congress party, Pradeep Bhandari.
The government. I am not supporting the Congress party. Those who cannot get the support of their alliance partners, they should not ask question. घर के अंदर ही अपने घर वालों को साथ में नहीं रख पा रहे तो क्या हमसे सवाल पूछेंगे? पहले घर के परिवार के लोगों को साथ में रखें, फिर हमसे सवाल पूछे. But Navika ji, the larger point today is that this is a government which is a reform express government. So this will be a budget which will be a reform express budget. And please note that the Indian economy is in a very historic moment under Prime Minister Narendra Modi, which is in a Goldilocks phase with a very solid oasis of macroeconomic stability with a single-digit inflation less than 2% and a 7% growth rate. Along with that, around 11 crore of capex spend. Along with that, forex reserve being doubled, and for the first time, you have the resources flowing to the commercial sector rising by 29%. So this is all of this points towards one thing, that the fundamental is very solid. So the expectation from your studio, which I've been hearing in the last 30 minutes, is a very legitimate expectation to have, because all of you are positive about the economy, and we've gone away from the days of the Congress party where we used to worry about double-digit inflation and current account deficit and twin deficits. So this, I believe that this budget you will see a lot of smiles in your on your panel, and Anand has some valid points, and I believe that those also will be addressed. But please note that this is the only government which has taken care of macroeconomic stability compared to no government since independence. So the macroeconomic stability is the best, and this is why today you have resources to spend on across sectors. You have for the first time the GVO of agriculture rising by 4.7% over a cross-decadal growth, which has never happened since independence. You have the defense budget growing by 9.09%.
Absolutely, and more breaking news that we are getting at this point is that disinvestment targets are likely to remain conservative. Economic survey says that the government should come out of various investments and reduce their holdings to 26%. But will that happen? Is that a reform that's taking far too long? We are also taking in calls from our viewers this morning on what their expectations from budget are. And the first caller is, when we get the first caller, we will go across to him. But Anmol Pawar, do you have any expectations from the budget, or should we expect you to say lackluster budget is what you're expecting, because that's exactly what you're going to say post-budget as well?
Navika ji, when we talk about a developed economy, we consider every section of society. And a budget that doesn't improve daily life is just arithmetic, because the poorest citizen is the true auditor of the budget. It reflects the vision of the government. It reflects the accountability. And today, we can see that no doubt we are the fastest growing economy, but whether these numbers have translated in providing a dignified, stable, and economic stable life to the common man of this country, that's the real question. And on that front, the data says that the government has failed, because they are providing 90 crore people with 5 kg ration. More than 80% of our country earns less than 10,000 rupees per month. Unemployment is at an all-time high. They promised us good days, but in return, we saw that they failed to provide employment. They failed to double farmers' income, and all their schemes, whether it was the Ayushman Bharat, whether it was Skill India, all are marred under corruption, and it's their own comptroller and auditor general report. So the reality is that the government speaks of growth, but the citizen speaks of survival, of EMIs, of hospital bills, school fees.
Pawar, I know you're demanding accountability, and you're absolutely well within your rights, but do you have any expectations? Are you expecting anything? If there's one thing that you'd want to ask Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman, what would that be?
We wish and we suggest that real development will happen only when we'll have good government schools, and the people will get free education, good government hospitals where they'll get free healthcare, and we should not fight for basic amenities of life even after 70 years of independence.
All right.
The BJP rules more
all
than
right.
22
All right.
states.
Good free education. Well, that's. That's for the states to do as well. How many states have delivered on that front? But my first caller calling in, Vithoba, calling in from Bengaluru. What is your expectation, Mr. Vithoba, this morning from Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman?
Yes, I want some facilities for senior citizens.
All right.
Senior citizen, I am at 72 now. So if I go to a nationalized bank for a just secured loan for my emergency, they are simply rejecting my proposal. Even it is I have given security, and they want some IT and all. I have not filed IT, but I'm having income proof. I'm having...
all right, that's a very specific ask. I hope somebody in the Finance Ministry is taking note. Thank you very much, Mr. Vithoba, for joining me this morning. Also joining me is Shashwat Goenka, joining me live from CII. And Shashwat, what is your expectation? We're seeing a little bit of kabhi red, kabhi green from the markets this morning. Cautious outlook from the markets. How's India Inc. Looking at the budget, and what is it? What is that one big announcement that you're looking forward to from Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman?
Hi Navika, thank you so much. When you look at India over the last couple of quarters, we have delivered our highest ever growth in terms of real GDP. And India Inc. is very excited about that because we believe that this budget is going to build on that growth momentum. We are expecting significant spends on infrastructure. This is not just on public infrastructure, but also on social infrastructure like education, like healthcare. And not just in terms of quantity, but in terms of quality education, quality healthcare. And we believe that that is what is going to propel the consumption economy in India ultimately.
Absolutely. Sanjay Jha, do you share the euphoria of India Inc. at this point? Do you think, the growth numbers in the last 2 quarters is something that will be built upon after the budget is announced?
Navika, I will answer your question, but I think the debate needs to be a lot fairer. I'm hearing 2 or 3 BJP spokespersons speak and they criticize the Congress, and we don't even get a voice on your program. Anyway, I will take 1/4 the time, but I will expose the lies that have been spoken. Number one, Mr. Gaurav Vallabh was my colleague in the Congress not long ago, and I know what he said about the BJP till he joined the BJP. He considered the economy not just dead, he considered it regressive. So I don't attach too much credibility to what he said on your show today. Second, they have the audacity to talk about social sector spending and inequality. Manrega, not just the name has been changed, the structure has been changed. India's poor will remain even worse off than ever before. Third, they talk of GDP. I have never heard Mr. Modi talk about the per capita income, which is the lowest among G20 countries and continues to be woefully inadequate. The poor and the middle class are suffering. Point number 4, very important. Does anybody even talk of crony capitalism anymore? That since 2014 to 24, and I'm arguing on data, not rhetoric. Here is the fact, Navika, 954 billion is the increase in the wealth of billionaires. And rural wages have gone up by 1.2%. And I'm not even taking inflation into account. And how many people live in the rural sector? Almost 60% of India. Last but not the least, look at the one reality. Somebody talked of skills program. I would request them to look at the CAG report, which talks to you about the huge corruption in the skills program in India. And of course, since I live in Mumbai, I have to share it on behalf of India Inc. because CII, FICCI, ASSOCHAM will not have the courage to speak on a public program. India Incorporated is tired with fear. They are scared and they know there is no level playing field. If they are in a particular sector, 2 big industrialists will come and capture that sector, and that is the reality of Indian business today.
All right, Sanjay Jha, it's a fair platform where you at least cannot complain that you don't get an opportunity to speak. You've spoken your mind, you speak every evening, and I welcome your points of view. But when you talk about, one section of the society where incomes are going up, just look at Mr. Rahul Gandhi's income tax returns and his wealth going up. I wish in fairness, you would also mention that he's part of that 1% that has seen growth in incomes. But joining me are callers, Rishabh Mishra calling me from Delhi, Rajesh Sehgal also a Delhi caller. Rishabh, what's your point? What do you expect from this budget?
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
I'm a lawyer, and I'll speak on this with our view. Basically, ma'am, whenever you will see any person who is specializing in a field, he has just started to work, like an advocate, a doctor, or a banker. He would need a skill development regard to his field. So there is no research, there is a skill development program going on. I would be expecting that it would go in a way forward that they would get a specialization with regard to their field, more focused on them.
All right. Fair demand and good suggestion. I do hope Finance Minister is listening to this one. Rajesh Sehgal, what's your expectation?
Ma'am, I think good morning to all people on the panel, and I think that the intent of the BJP government has been very good, and the middle class reforms and all they have been taking. The important point is that the money in the pockets, they have taken a cue from the Manmohan Singh government, and as the last caller called upon the skill development, the internship programs and all have to take part like they were announced and all, but I don't think so there were any takeaway for the kind of internship program. The implementation part of these programs are lacking. AI and other fields are massive. Take the Indian students, develop these kind of things, and India is going to give you a kind of a rebound. Even US can't think about it and all. So
Fair point, Rajesh Sehgal. Great suggestions coming in from both Rishabh and Rajesh. Pradeep Bhandari, I hope you will take notes and take them to your party, because these are positive, constructive suggestions. Also joining me this morning, Jayanti calling in from Madurai. Good morning, Jayanti ji. What is your expectation?
Ma'am, good morning, ma'am. I'm a low middle class homemaker, and my husband is an agent for a borewell rig company. And now their most expenses is only the fuel. 80% of fuel they are taking with their borewell and the rig company, and with that 80% they are putting GST on that. So it is very difficult for us to earn even 5,000 rupees per month for our expenses. And the groceries are too costly, becoming too costly after the GST reduction and all that. And a loan middle class persons like us, the government should reduce GST from the borewell and the rig agent companies.
All right. Well, lower income groups looking for some support. Pradeep Bhandari, I hope you will take that suggestion as well. Mr. Padmanathan calling from Bengaluru. What is your expectation, sir?
See, I am as a retired banker and a pensioner. I have my own grievances. That's a different thing. But if you look at the nation as a whole, this government has been doing a wonderful job. See, opposition's job is to see that they question the wrong things of the government. But here, persons like Mr. Sanjay Jha, very knowledgeable person, his only agenda is to always criticize. You should also have some amount of discretion to, wherever necessary, talk about the good things that the government have done. You must see how many people have been brought above the poverty line in the North Indian states, particularly in this thing where the predominance of this thing has been there. It is very unfortunate that the opposition is not behaving as a real opposition, constructive opposition and helpful opposition.
Well said. Mr. Padmanathan, let me check with both Sarvanand ji and Sanjay Jha ji if they want to turn a new leaf. Sanjay Jha, first.
Can I address the gentleman very respectfully, sir? You know, one of the questions that we have asked, and you should be interested because I think you look like all of us, a citizen of India who cares. This government of Mr. Modi that you admire a lot gave the corporate sector of India 1,50,000 crores. 1,50,000 crores, which over the last 7 years is over 10 lakh crores as a corporate subsidy. You know what you were told by Mr. Modi's government? They will create private investment, which Navika says is not happening. I'm not saying it. The world knows it though. And they said they will create jobs. In India, over the last 8 years, 18,000 people have committed suicide because they didn't have jobs. And you think questioning this government is being unfair, is being critical?
Ranganathan raising his hand. Anand Ranganathan, you want to come in?
This is why I love the people who come on to your show, who speak the common voice, the vox populi. They deal with just facts. Now, the Clems report was constituted by the UPA, and the Clems report said last year 46 million jobs were created. And let me talk of something called the lowest ever. We're talking of highest ever GST collection, vehicle sales. Inflation has been the lowest ever. Gini coefficient has been the lowest ever. There are so many things that are the lowest. So, as Monica correctly said, but the point is, and this is something that hypocrites always, revolve themselves about. मैं नाम नहीं लूंगा ऐसे जो भी है. The point is, they are saying freebie, or I am for welfareism. Of course I am. And this government has done more welfareism than any other previous government in India's independent history. I can give you the stats. But I also say this, that socialism / welfareism is only possible in a capitalist state. You need to generate that money. And that's why this government needs to get out of running businesses.
There is no free lunch. Milton Friedman's economics tells you that there is no free lunch. And I want to bring in Mr. Singhania. Mr. Singhania, I want to ask you, there are common people raising the question. Of course, everybody has a problem with the prices, whatever level the CPI inflation may be at. Household budgets are always under strain. We all know it and we all experience it. But if you were to look at the Indian economy without any of the blinkers that political party has, either biased positively or biased negatively, if you remove all of those, how do you assess the so far growth of the Indian economy, and what are you expecting, especially for the common people, in terms of the taxation policies? When the finance minister reads out her budget. Incidentally, yes, the cabinet has approved the budget, and in just about 9 minutes from now, we'll go across straight to Nirmala Sitharaman, but Mr. Singhania first.
Yep. Thanks, Navika. And I think there are more learned people here to talk and comment on the GDP growth. But I think what I'm very encouraged about is the compounding effect of the growth rate, right? So if you look at last 3-4 years, that growth rate has been consistently between 6 and 7, now 7.4% this year. And next 3 years, it's between 7.2%, right? If you just look at the compounding effect of that, that's the most encouraging statistics that you can get for the Viksit Bharat sort of roadmap, right? So I don't think there should be any doubt about the roadmap of the growth that Indian economy is on, right? And there can always be debate, but there shouldn't be a doubt that this is the best trajectory that we have had in the independent India history, and this is what will take us to the developed economy goals, right?
Are you a Sanghi?
I'm the most apolitical person on your show, but that's my very independent.
No, because that question will come from the panel, so I'm just preparing you for it.
I'm sure. And maybe I'll pass on this question to Anand you. But just before I stop, on the tax piece, Navika, one thing that I do want to demystify on this show is that no longer any tax proposal in the budget are about either a political agenda or even giving the freebie to the economy, right? Whether to the poor people or the corporate. All tax changes in last 3-4 years, if you look at whether last year budget where the tax slab rates were increased significantly to 12 lakh rupees, there is a proposal likely this year that there will be joint tax filing possible for a married couple.
You think that's a good thing?
I think that's a very, very progressive move if that happens, and you will experience.
Are you expecting? What's your bet on?
I think this should come through, and the tax exempt limit should go literally double, right? So from 12 lakhs it should become 24 lakhs for a joint tax filing for a married couple, right? And that's a big change that could happen, right?
Okay.
So that, to my mind, no tax change.
Is there tax terrorism in the country for corporates? Yes or no?
You heard Mr. Vallabh commenting on that, but as a tax professional, I can say is that lots of structural, lots of administrative changes have already been done. Refunds are coming much faster. Tax audits are happening in a more structured manner. I would say that it's much less now than it was about 10 years ago. That's how you might.
Tax terrorism is less now than it was 20 years ago. Well, now Sanjay Jha and Mr. Saravanan probably hearing this. But before I come to you, Mr. Saravanan, Karthik calling in from Bengaluru. Karthik, what is your expectation?
Hello.
Yes, Karthik.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, very audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Across India.
Taxpayer. Hello. Hello.
Yes, go on, Karthik.
Yes, ma'am. As a taxpayer, I would suggest that government can give us some benefit for the middle class people, because lower class people has various schemes. Higher class people are enjoying with the CSR activities and other kind of exemptions. But being a middle class, government has just squeezed in.
You just got a tax break last year, not enough?
No, ma'am. As a normal individual, as a middle class, something from the government can increase the.
All right. Okay, fair enough. Dil mange more, but Sangmesh Hiramat also calling in from Bengaluru. What is your expectation?
My expectation in the two sides is there, ma'am. The first one is the jobs opportunities for the younger people has become less, and raising prices in all the areas. The prices are rising, and the people are not being able to manage their families and get to married also. The jobless persons are not being able to married also. So many people not getting even married also.
Okay.
So, and one more thing is, older women are, their treatment, they are being, cancer patients are there, stroke patients are there. Their facilities, it means for to get affordable what they are doing for them. It means individual not being able to take care themselves also, how they can manage to take care
so two callers, having problems with marriage as well as from incomes. Shri Hari from Hyderabad, what is your expectation, sir?
Madam, good morning. Thanks for giving me an opportunity to ask my question. See, the problem with the financial institutions or the bank is the CIBIL score. Okay. So in spite of making all the payments, sometimes the CIBIL score acts very funny, particularly with reference to the credit card. And they only listen to the banker and not to the common man. So there should be some process like
so banking reforms, the more we are hearing this, the more there is some issue with the banking reforms. Well, thank you very much for bringing that to our notice, and we will pass these on to Finance Ministry. But Anand Ranganathan,
because I see all the time the middle class grouse, and I think it's quite legitimate as well. I think, but can I suggest something dramatic that would assuage the people who pay tax? Which is their permanent grouse, legitimate one, is that they don't savor the rewards when they are taxed. So I think maybe, I don't know, it's probably never going to happen, but 10% of all tax that anyone pays should go back to his or her locality and the municipality or the council for the improvement of that particular place where that person is staying.
Well, there is, even if Bihar elections are over, there is no ban on being Mungeri Lal. So please continue to be that. And Monica Hallan, for those people who are expecting a fillip in their middle income woes, what do you think specifically? What is your bet on?
Not this year. Nothing this year, because last year that thing was raised to 12. Middle class.
You've attended some of those meetings that the Finance Minister and the Prime Minister do ahead of the budget. Give us a peek into what was discussed and anything that...
I think they're looking very macro, broad, long-term, Vikasit Bharat. And the tax tinkering is left to the Finance Ministry, really. And that is what really the leaders should do, is fix on the big picture and allow the bureaucracy to work it out. And there is a tax path that we are seeing. We are seeing that for the people who are within that 12 lakh range, there is no tax, which is a big thing. Now to expect...
And if the couples come together,
that would be one more. So to expect every year...
What's your probability that you're fixing on that happening?
I don't know. It could happen, it might not.
50-50?
Yeah, probably.
50-50?
But I just want to say, somebody had talked about this whole banking reform. I just want to say one thing here that is desperately required, especially because of all the cyber scams. And I want to put it out there that they have a software called the Mule Hunter, which is supposed to hunt for these mule accounts. I think there should be an audit as to how the banks are using it. My impression is they are not using it. They are complicit in the crores which are lost through these digital accounts, the telecom companies and the banks.
That's a big statement Monica Hallan is making. Mule accounts, the banks are complicit with the fraudsters who are doing cyber fraud on these funds. Well, I don't know if anybody in the finance ministry is going to take note of this one, but this could be huge as far as middle classes who think their money is safe in banks and who are being taken for a ride every time. But just a minute before we go into the budget speech, I want to play out the expectation of one of the top opposition leaders we have in the parliament, Chief of Samajwadi Party Akhilesh Yadav. Let's listen into what he's expecting.
जिस सरकार से कोई उम्मीद नहीं, उसके बजट से क्या उम्मीद होगी? और पिछले तमाम बजटों में देखने को मिला है, ये बजट 1/20 लोगों के लिए बनता है। यानी 5% लोगों के साथ। और आज सरकार को ये भी सोचना चाहिए पीछे मुड़ करके कि जो वादे उन्होंने किए थे अपने घोषणा पत्र में, क्या उन पे खरे उतरे हैं?
The best man yet, no expectations from the budget. And Jaggi, what is going to be the reaction after budget?
Of opposition?
Of the opposition.
Oh, that you know, you already seen it. You don't need to give them more space.
Before or after.
Yeah.
Is the same.
And not the BJP. BJP will say it's the next best thing after sliced bread. So you forget that.
This points, though, to a real flaw in our democratic system, that there is no
constructive criticism.
There's no debate, no discussion.
No, the debate just begins on the floor of the House. Slogan hearing there already in Parliament. The Speaker takes center stage.
वित्त मंत्री श्रीमती निर्मला सीतारमन जी। Item number one.
Sir, with your permission, I rise to lay on the table a copy each of the following papers, Hindi and English versions, under Article 281 of the Constitution, Report for 2026 to 2031, Volume 1, Main Report of the 16th Finance Commission. 2. Report for 2026-2031, Volume 2, Annexures of the 16th Finance Commission. Number 3, explanatory memorandum as to the action taken on the recommendations contained in the above report.
Item number 2, माननीय वित्त मंत्री निर्मला सीतारमन जी।
Honorable Speaker, sir, on the sacred occasion of Magh Purnima and the birth anniversary of Guru Ravidas, I present the budget for the year 2026-2027. Since we assumed office 12 years ago, India's economic trajectory has been marked by stability, fiscal discipline, sustained growth, and moderate inflation. This is the result of conscious choices we have made, even in times heightened uncertainty and disruption. Our government, led by Honorable Prime Minister Modi, has decisively and consistently chosen action over ambivalence, reform over rhetoric, and people over populism. We have pursued far-reaching structural reforms, fiscal prudence and monetary stability, whilst maintaining a strong thrust on public investment. Keeping Atmanirbharta as a lodestar, we have built domestic manufacturing capacity, energy security, and reduced critical import dependencies. Simultaneously, we have ensured that citizens benefit from every action of the government, undertaking reforms to support employment generation, agricultural productivity, household purchasing power, and universal services to people. These measures have delivered a high growth rate of around 7% and helped us make substantial strides in poverty reduction and improvement in the lives of our people. Today, we face an external environment in which trade and multilateralism are imperiled and access to resources and supply chains are disrupted. New technologies are transforming production systems while sharply increasing demands on water, energy, and critical minerals. India will continue to take confident steps towards Vikasit Bharat, balancing ambition with inclusion. As a growing economy with expanding trade and capital needs, India must also remain deeply integrated with global markets, exporting more and attracting stable long-term investment. As I begin Part A, I want to express my gratitude to the people for standing firmly with us as we forge our way together towards becoming one of the largest economies of the world. Our aim is to transform aspiration into achievement and potential into performance as we ensure that the dividends of growth reach every farmer, the scheduled caste, the scheduled tribes, the nomads, the youth, the poor, and the women. In Vikasit Bharat Young Leaders Dialogue 2026, several innovative ideas were shared with our Prime Minister, which have inspired many of the proposals, making this a unique Yuva Shakti-driven budget. Our government's sankalp is to focus on our poor, underprivileged, and the disadvantaged. To deliver on this sankalp, and given that this is the first budget prepared in Kartavya Bhavan, we are inspired by three Kartavya. Our first Kartavya is to accelerate and sustain economic growth by enhancing productivity and competitiveness and building resilience to volatile global dynamics. Our second Kartavya is to fulfill aspirations of our people and build their capacity, making them strong partners in India's path to prosperity. Our third Kartavya, aligned with our vision of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, is to ensure that every family, community, region, and sector has access to resources, amenities, and opportunities for meaningful participation. This threefold approach requires a supportive ecosystem. The first requirement is to sustain the momentum of structural reforms, continuous, adaptive, and forward-looking. Second, a robust and resilient financial sector is central to mobilizing savings, allocating capital efficiently, and managing risks. Third, cutting-edge technologies, including AI applications, can serve us as force multipliers for better governance. Reform Express. Our government has undertaken comprehensive reforms towards creating employment, boosting productivity, and accelerating growth. After the Prime Minister's announcement on Independence Day in 2025, over 350 reforms have been rolled out. This includes GST simplification, notification of labor codes, and rationalization of mandatory quality control orders. High-level committees have been formed, and in parallel, the central government is working with the state governments on deregulation and reducing compliance requirements. The Reform Express is well on its way and will maintain its momentum to help us fulfill our Kartavya. I now move to specific proposals. Under our first Kartavya, to accelerate and sustain economic growth, I propose interventions to accelerate and sustain economic growth. I propose interventions in 6 areas. 1. Scaling up manufacturing in 7 strategic and frontier sectors. 2. Rejuvenating legacy industrial sectors. 3. Creating champion MSMEs. 4. Delivering a powerful push for infrastructure. 5. Ensuring long-term security and stability. And 6. Developing city economic regions. Scaling up of manufacturing in 7 strategic and frontier sectors. Biopharma Shakti, meaning biopharma strategy for health advancement through knowledge, technology and innovation. India's disease burden is observed to be shifting towards non-communicable diseases like diabetes, cancer and autoimmune disorders. Biologic medicines are key to longevity and quality of life at affordable costs. To develop India as a global biopharma manufacturing hub, I propose the Biopharma Shakti with an outlay of 10,000 crores over the next 5 years. This will build the ecosystem for domestic production of biologics and biosimilars. The strategy will include a biopharma focused network with 3 new national institutes of pharmaceutical education and research, popularly known as NIPERs, and upgrading 7 existing ones. It will also create a network of 1,000 accredited India clinical trials sites. We propose to strengthen the Central Drug Standard Control Organization to meet global standards and approve timeframes through and approval timeframes through a dedicated scientific review cadre and specialists. India's semiconductor mission 1.0 expanded India's semiconductor sector capabilities. Building on this, we will launch ISM 2.0 to produce equipment and materials, design full-stack Indian IP, and fortify supply chains. We will also focus on industry-led research and training centers to develop technology and skilled workforce. The Electronics Components Manufacturing Scheme, launched in April 2025 with an outlay of 22,919 crores, already has investment commitments at double the targets. We propose to increase the outlay to 40,000 crores to capitalize on this momentum. A scheme for rare earth permanent magnets was launched in 2025 November. We now propose to support the mineral-rich states of Odisha, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu to establish dedicated rare earth corridors to promote mining, processing, research and manufacturing. To enhance domestic chemical production and reduction import dependency and reduce import dependency, we will launch a scheme to support states in establishing 3 dedicated chemical parks through challenge route on a cluster-based plug-and-play model. Strong capital goods. Strong capital goods capability is a determinant of productivity and quality across different sectors. Towards building this capacity, I propose the following. High-tech tool rooms will be established by central public sector enterprises at 2 locations as digitally enabled automated service bureaus that locally design, test and manufacture high-precision components at scale and at lower cost. 2. A scheme for enhancement of construction and infrastructure equipments will be introduced to strengthen domestic manufacturing of high value and technologically advanced CIE. This can range from lifts in a multi-storied apartment or firefighting equipment in multiplexes, large or small, and to tunnel boring equipments for building metros and high-altitude roads. I also propose a scheme for container manufacturing to create a globally competitive container manufacturing ecosystem with a budgetary allocation of 10,000 crores over a 5-year period. For the labor-intensive textile sector, I propose an integrated program with 5 subparts. 1. The National Fiber Scheme for Self-Reliance in Natural Fibers, such as silk, wool and jute, man-made fibers, and new age fibers. Textile expansion and employment scheme to modernize traditional clusters with capital support for machinery, technology upgradation, and common testing and certification centers. 3. The National Handloom and Handicraft Program to integrate and strengthen existing schemes and ensure targeted support for weavers and artisans. Tex Eco Initiative to promote globally competitive and sustainable textiles and apparels. Samarth 2.0 to modernize the upgrade the textile skilling ecosystem through collaboration with industry and academic institutions. Further, I propose to set up mega textile parks in challenge mode. They can also focus on bringing value addition to technical textiles. I propose to launch the Mahatma Gandhi Gram Swaraj initiative to strengthen khadi, handloom and handicrafts. This will help in global market linkage and branding. It will streamline and support training, skilling, quality of process and production. This will benefit our weavers, village industries, One District, One Product ODOP initiative, and also our rural youth. India has the potential to emerge as a global hub for high quality, affordable sports goods. I propose a dedicated initiative for sports goods that will promote manufacturing, research and innovation in equipment design as well as material sciences. Rejuvenation of legacy industrial clusters. I propose to introduce a scheme to revive 200 legacy industrial clusters to improve their cost competitiveness and efficiency through infrastructure and technology upgradation. Creating champion SMEs and supporting micro enterprises. Recognizing MSMEs as a vital engine of growth, I propose a 3-pronged approach to help them grow as champions. Equity support. I propose to introduce a dedicated 10,000 crores SME growth fund to create future champions, incentivizing enterprises based on select criteria. I also propose to top up the Self-Reliant India Fund set up in 2021 with 2,000 crores to continue support to micro enterprises and maintain their access to risk capital. Liquidity support. With TREDS, more than 7 lakh crore has been made available to MSMEs. To leverage its full potential, I propose 4 measures. 1. Mandate TREDS as the transaction settlement platform for all purchases from MSMEs by CPSEs. serving as a benchmark for other corporates. 2. Introduce a credit guarantee support mechanism through CGT MSE for invoice discounting on TREDS platform. 3. Link GEM with TREDS for sharing information with financiers about government purchases from MSMEs, encouraging cheaper and quicker financing. 4. Introduce TREDS receivables as asset-backed securities, helping develop a secondary market, enhancing liquidity and settlement of transactions. Professional support. Government will facilitate professional institutions such as the ICAI, ICSI, ICMAI to design short-term modular courses and practical tools to develop a cadre of corporate mitras, especially in Tier 2 and Tier 3 towns. These accredited para-professionals will help MSMEs meet compliance requirements at affordable costs. Infrastructure. During this past decade, our government has undertaken several initiatives for large-scale enhancement of public infrastructure, including through new financing instruments such as Infrastructure Investment Trust (InvITs) and Real Estate Investment Trust (REITs), and institutions like NIIF and NABFID. We shall continue to focus on developing infrastructure in cities with over 5 lakh population, that is Tier 2, Tier 3 cities, which have expanded to become growth centers. Public capital expenditure has increased manifold from 2 lakh crore in 2014-15 to an allocation of 11.2 lakh crore in BE 25-26. In this coming year, that is financial year 2026-27, I propose to increase it to 12.2 lakh crores to continue the momentum. To strengthen the confidence of private developers regarding risks during infrastructure development and construction phase, I propose to set up an infrastructure risk guarantee fund to provide prudentially calibrated partial credit guarantee to lenders. Over the years, REITs have emerged as a successful instrument for asset monetization. I propose to accelerate recycling of significant real estate assets of the CPSEs through the setting up of dedicated REITs. To promote environmentally sustainable movement of cargo, I propose to 1. Establish new dedicated freight corridors connecting Dankuni in the east to Surat in the west. Operationalize 20 new national waterways over the next 5 years. Starting with National Waterways 5 in Orissa to connect mineral-rich areas of Talcher and Angul and industrial centers like Kalinga Nagar to the ports of Paradeep and Dhamra. Training institutes will be set up as regional centers of excellence for development of required manpower for these waterways. This will benefit youth in the entire stretch of the waterways to train and acquire skills. Further, a ship repair ecosystem catering to inland waterways will also be set up at Varanasi and Patna. And C, launch a coastal cargo promotion scheme for incentivizing a modal shift from rail to road to increase the share of inland waterways and coastal shipping from 6% to 12% by 2047. To enhance last mile and remote connectivity and promote tourism, I propose to give incentives to indigenize manufacturing of seaplanes. A seaplane VGF scheme will be also introduced to provide support for operations. Carbon capture, utilization and storage. Aligning with the roadmap launched in December 2025, the carbon capture, utilization and storage technologies at scale will achieve higher readiness and in end-use application across 5 industrial sectors, including power, steel, cement, refineries, and chemicals. An outlay of 20,000 crore is proposed over the next 5 years for this purpose. City economic regions. Cities are India's engines of growth, innovation, and opportunities. We shall now focus on Tier 2, Tier 3 cities, and even temple towns, which need modern infrastructure and basic amenities. This budget aims to further amplify the potential of cities to deliver the economic power of agglomerations by mapping city economic regions based on their specific growth drivers. An allocation of 5,000 crore per CER over 5 years is proposed for implementing their plans through a challenge mode with a reform-cum-result-based financing mechanism. In order to promote environmentally sustainable passenger systems, we will develop 7 high-speed rail corridors between cities as growth connectors, namely Mumbai to Pune, Pune to Hyderabad, Hyderabad to Bengaluru, Hyderabad to Chennai, Chennai to Bengaluru, Delhi to Varanasi, Varanasi to Siliguri. Financial sector. The Indian banking sector today is characterized by strong balance sheet, historic highs in profitability, improved asset quality, and coverage exceeding 98% of villages in the country. At this juncture, we are well placed to futuristically evaluate the measures needed to continue on the path of reform-led growth of this sector. I propose setting up a high-level committee on banking for Vikasit Bharat. High-level committee on banking for Vikasit Bharat to comprehensively review the sector and align it with India's next phase of growth, while safeguarding financial stability, inclusion, and consumer protection. The vision for NBFCs for Vikasit Bharat has been outlined with clear targets for credit disbursement and technology adoption in order to achieve scale and improve efficiency in the public sector NBFCs. As a first step, it is proposed to restructure the Power Finance Corporation and Rural Electrification Corporation. I propose a comprehensive review of the foreign exchange management non-debt instruments rules to create a more contemporary, user-friendly framework for foreign investments consistent with India's evolving economic priorities. Corporate bond market. I propose to introduce a market-making framework with suitable access to funds and derivatives on corporate bond indices. I also propose to introduce total return swaps on corporate bonds. Municipal bonds. To encourage the issuance of municipal bonds of higher value by larger cities, I propose an incentive of 100 crore rupees for a single bond issuance. 100 crore rupees for a single bond issuance of more than 1,000 crore. The current scheme under Amrit which incentivizes issuances up to 200 crores only, will also continue to support smaller and medium towns. That will also continue to support the smaller and medium towns. Ease of doing business. Individual persons resident outside India, PROI, will be permitted to invest in equity instruments of listed Indian companies through the Portfolio Investment Scheme. It is also proposed to increase the investment limit for an individual PROI under the scheme from 5% to 10%, with an overall investment limit for all individual PROIs to 24% from the current 10%. Emerging technologies including AI. 21st century is technology driven. Adoption of technology is for the benefit of all people. Farmers in the field, women in STEM, youth keen to upskill, and Divyangjan to access newer opportunities. The government has taken several steps to support new technologies through AI Mission, National Quantum Mission, Anusandhan National Research Fund, and Research and Development and Innovation Fund. Our second kartavya is to fulfill aspirations and build capacities. Close to 25 crore individuals have come out of multi-dimensional poverty through a decade of our government's sustained and reform-oriented efforts. Our government has therefore decided to place a renewed emphasis on the service sector to provide a pathway to fulfilling aspirations of a youthful India with the following measures. I propose to set up a high-powered education to employment and enterprises standing committee to recommend measures that focus on services sector as a core driver of Vikasit Bharat. This will make us a global leader in services with a 10% global share by 2047. The committee will prioritize areas to optimize the potential for growth, employment, and exports. They will also assess the impact of emerging technologies, including AI, on jobs and skill requirements and propose measures thereof. To create a range of skilled career pathways, a new range of skilled career pathways for our youth, I propose interventions in the following sectors. Health. Existing institutions for allied health professionals will be upgraded and new AHP institutions established in private and government sectors. This will cover 10 selected disciplines, including optometry, radiology, anesthesia, OT technology, applied psychology and behavioral health, and add 1 lakh AHPs over the next 5 years. A strong care system covering geriatric and allied care services will be built. A variety of NSQF-aligned programs will be developed to train multi-skilled caregivers, combining core care and allied skills such as wellness, yoga, and operation of medical assistive devices. In the coming year, 1.5 lakh caregivers will be trained. Hubs for medical value tourism. To promote India as a hub for medical tourism services, I propose to launch a scheme to support states in establishing 5 regional medical hubs in partnership with the private sector. These hubs will serve as integrated healthcare complexes that combine medical, educational, and research facilities. They will have Ayush centers, medical value tourism facilitation centers, and infrastructure for diagnostics, post-care, and rehabilitation. These hubs will provide diverse opportunities, job opportunities for health professionals, including doctors and AHPs. Ancient Indian yoga, already respected in several parts of the world, was given a mass global recognition when Honorable Prime Minister took it to the UN. Post-COVID, Ayurveda gained a similar global acceptance and recognition. Exporting quality Ayurveda products helps farmers who grow the herbs and youth who process the products. To meet growing global demand, a few more steps are being taken. I propose to 1. Set up 3 new All India Institutes of Ayurveda. 2. Upgrade Ayush pharmacies and drug testing labs for higher standards of certification ecosystem and make available more skilled personnel. 3. Upgrade the WHO Global Traditional Medicine Center in Jamnagar to bolster evidence-based research, training, and awareness for traditional medicine. Animal husbandry. Livestock contributes to close to 16% of farm income, including of poor and marginal households. To scale up availability of veterinary professionals by more than 20,000, I propose to roll out a loan-linked capital subsidy support scheme for establishment of veterinary and para-veterinary colleges, veterinary hospitals, diagnostic laboratories, and breeding facilities in private sector. Collaboration between Indian and foreign institutions will also be facilitated. Orange economy. India's animation, visual effects, gaming and comics sector, AVGC sector, is a growing industry projected to require 2 million professionals by 2030. I propose to support the Indian Institute of Creative Technologies, Mumbai, in setting up AVGC content creator labs in 15,000 secondary schools all over the country and 500 colleges. The Indian design industry is expanding rapidly, and yet there is a shortage of Indian designers. I propose to establish, through Challenge Route, a new National Institute of Design to boost design education and development in the eastern region of India. Education. Our government will support states through Challenge Route in creating 5 university townships in the vicinity of major industrial and logistics corridors. These planned academic zones will host multiple universities, colleges, and research institutions, skill centers, and residential complexes. In higher education, STEM institutions, prolonged hours of study and laboratory work pose some challenges for girl students. Through VGF, Viability Gap Funding and capital support, 1 girls' hostel will be established in every district. To promote astrophysics and astronomy via immersive experiences, 4 telescope infrastructure facilities will be set up or upgraded. The National Large Solar Telescope, the National Large Optical Infrared Telescope, the Himalayan Chandra Telescope, and the Cosmos 2 Planetarium. Tourism. The tourism sector has the potential to play a large role in the employment generation. forex earnings, and expanding the local economy. I propose to set up a National Institute of Hospitality by upgrading the existing National Council for Hotel Management and Catering Technology. It will function as a bridge between academia, industry, and government. I also propose a pilot scheme for upskilling 10,000 guides in 20 iconic tourist sites through a standardized, high-quality, 12-week training course in hybrid mode in collaboration with the Indian Institute of Management. A national destination digital knowledge grid will be established to digitally document all places of significance, cultural, spiritual, and heritage. This initiative will create a new ecosystem of jobs for local researchers, historians, content creators, and technology partners. India has the potential and opportunity to offer world-class trekking and hiking experience. We will develop ecologically sustainable mountain trails in Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, and Jammu Kashmir. Also in Araku Valley in the Eastern Ghats and Podigai Malai in the Western Ghats. Turtle trails along key nesting sites in the coastal areas of Odisha, Karnataka, and Kerala. And 3 bird watching trails along the Pulikat Lake in Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu. It's on the border. Under the visionary leadership of Honorable Prime Minister, we established the International Big Cat Alliance in 2024. This year, India is hosting the first ever Global Big Cat Summit, where heads of governments and ministers from 95 range countries will deliberate on collective strategies for conservation. Heritage and culture tourism. I propose to develop 15 archaeological sites, including Lothal, Dolavira, Rakigadi, Adichanallur, Saranath, Hastinapur, and Leh Palace into vibrant experiential cultural destinations. Excavated landscapes will be open to the public through curated walkways. Immersive storytelling skills and technologies will be introduced to help conservation labs, interpretation centers, and guides. The sports sector provides multiple means of employment, skilling, and job opportunities. Taking forward the systematic nurturing of sports talent which is set in motion through the Khelo India program earlier, I propose to launch a Khelo India mission to transform the sports sector over the next decade. The mission will facilitate an integrated talent development pathway supported by training centers which are foundational, intermediate, and elite levels. B, systematic development of coaches and support staff. C, integration of sports science and technology. D, competitions and leagues to promote sports culture and provide platforms. And E, development of sports infrastructure for training and competition. Our third Kartavya aligns with our vision of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas towards Vikasit Bharat. This requires targeted efforts for 1. Increasing farmer incomes through productivity enhancement and entrepreneurship, with special attention to small and marginal farmers. B. Empowering Divyangjan through access to livelihood opportunities, training, and high-quality assistive devices. C. Empowering the vulnerable to access mental health and trauma care. D. Focus on the Purvodaya states and the Northeast region to accelerate development and employment opportunities. Fisheries. We will undertake initiatives for integrated development of 500 reservoirs and Amrit Sarovars. 2. Strengthen the fisheries value chain in coastal areas and enable market linkages involving startups and women-led groups together with fish farmer producer organizations. Animal husbandry. To provide quality employment opportunities in rural and peri-urban areas, we will support the animal husbandry sector in entrepreneurship development through A credit-linked subsidy program, B, scaling up and modernization of livestock enterprises, C, enhanced creation of livestock, dairy and poultry, enhanced creation of livestock, dairy and poultry focused integrated value chains, and D, encourage creation of livestock farmer producer organizations. High value agriculture. To diversify farm outputs, increase productivity, enhance farmers' incomes, and create new employment opportunities, we will support high value crops such as coconut, sandalwood, cocoa, cashew in the coastal areas, agar trees in northeast, and nuts such as almonds, walnuts, and pine nuts in our hilly regions. These, all of them, will be supported. India is the world's largest producer of coconuts. About 30 million people, including nearly 10 million farmers, depend on coconuts for their livelihood. To further enhance competitiveness in coconut production, I propose a coconut promotion scheme to increase production and enhance productivity through various interventions, including replacing and non-productive trees with new saplings or plants or varieties in major coconut growing states. A dedicated program is proposed for Indian cashew and cocoa to make India self-reliant in raw cashew and coconut production and processing, enhance export competitiveness, and transform Indian cashew and Indian cocoa into premium global brands by 2030. Sandalwood. Sandalwood is closely linked to India's social and cultural heritage. Our government will partner with state governments to promote focused cultivation and post-harvest processing to restore the glory of the Indian sandalwood ecosystem, to rejuvenate old, low-yielding orchards and expand high-density cultivation of walnuts, almonds, and pine nuts. We will support a dedicated program to enhance farmer incomes and in bringing value addition by engaging youth. Bharat Vistar, that is virtually integrated system to access agricultural resources. I propose to launch Bharat Vistar, a multilingual AI tool that shall integrate the AgriStack portals and the ICAR package on agricultural practices with AI systems. This will enhance farm productivity, enable better decisions for farmers, and reduce risk by providing customized advisory support. She-Marts for rural women-led enterprises. Building on the success of Lakpati Didi program, I propose to help women take the next step from credit-linked livelihoods to being owners of enterprises. Self-help entrepreneur, She-Marts will be set up as community-owned retail outlets within the cluster-level federations through enhanced and innovative financing instruments. Empowering Divyangjan. Divyangjan Kaushal Yojana. Information technology, AVGC sectors hospitality and food and beverages sectors often offer task-oriented and process-driven roles which are suitable for Divyangjan. We will ensure dignified livelihood opportunities through industry-relevant and customized training specific to each Divyangjan group. Divyang Sahara Yojana, timely access to high-quality assistive devices for all eligible Divyangjan is a fundamental need. I propose to 1. Support the Artificial Limbs Manufacturing Corporation of India, Alimco, to set up and to scale up production of assistive devices, invest in R&D and AI integration, strengthen PM Divyasha Kendras, and support setting up of assistive technology marts as modern retail style centers where Divyangjan and senior citizens can see, try and purchase assistive products. Reaffirming our commitment to mental health and trauma care. There are no national institutes for mental health care in North India. We will therefore set up a NIMHANS 2 and also upgrade national mental health institutes in Ranchi and in Tezpur as regional apex institutions. Emergencies expose families, particularly the poor and vulnerable, to unexpected expenditure. We will strengthen and increase these capacities by 50% in district hospitals by establishing emergency and trauma care centers. Focus on Purvodaya states and northeastern regions. Purvodaya, I propose the development of an integrated East Coast industrial corridor with a well-connected node at Durgapur, creation of 5 tourism destinations in 5 Purvodaya states, and the provision of 4,000 e-buses. Buddhist sites in northeastern region. The northeastern region is a civilizational confluence of Theravada and Mahayana or Vajrayana traditions. I propose to launch a scheme for development of Buddhist circuits in Arunachal Pradesh, Sikkim, Assam, Manipur, Mizoram and Tripura. The scheme will cover preservation of temples and monasteries, pilgrimage interpretation centers, connectivity and pilgrim amenities. 16th Finance Commission. On 17th November 2025, the 16th Finance Commission submitted its report to the President. As mandated under Article 281 of the Constitution, the government is to lay the report along with the explanatory memorandum on the action taken report on the recommendations of the Commission in Parliament, which, Sir, Honourable Speaker, you've allowed me to do at the commencement of this session. The government has accepted the recommendation of the Commission to retain the vertical share of devolution at 41%. As recommended by the Commission, I have provided 1.4 lakh crores of rupees to the states for the year 2026-2027 as Finance Commission grants. These include rural and urban local body and disaster management grants. Fiscal consolidation. Government has been delivering on our fiscal commitments consistently without compromising on social needs. To strive towards accepted standards of fiscal management in Budget 25-26, I had indicated that the central government would target reaching a debt to GDP ratio of 50 plus or minus 1% by 2030-31. In line with this, the debt to GDP ratio is estimated to be 55.6% of GDP in BE 26-27, compared to 56.1% of GDP in RE 25-26. A declining debt to GDP ratio will gradually free up resources for priority sector lending and expenditure by reducing the outgo on interest payments. One of the main operational instruments for debt targeting is the fiscal deficit. I am happy to inform this august House that I fulfilled my commitment made in 2021-2022 to reduce fiscal deficit below 4.5% of GDP by 25-26. In RE 25-26, the fiscal deficit has been estimated at par with BE of 2025-26 at 4.4% of GDP. In line with the new fiscal prudence path of debt consolidation, the fiscal deficit in BE 26-27 is estimated to be 4.3% of the GDP. The revised estimates of the non-debt receipts are 34 lakh crore rupees, of which the centre's net tax receipts are 26.7 lakh crore. The revised estimate of the total expenditure is 49.6 lakh crore rupees, of which the capital expenditure is about 11 lakh crores. Budget estimates 2026 to 2027. Coming to 26-27, the non-debt receipts and the total expenditure are estimated as 36.5 lakh crore and 53.5 lakh crore respectively. The centre's net tax receipts are estimated at 28.7 lakh crore rupees. To finance the fiscal deficit, the net market borrowings from dated securities are estimated at 11.7 lakh crore rupees. The balance financing is expected to come from small savings and other sources. The gross market borrowings are estimated at 17.2 lakh crore rupees. I'll now move to Part B. Part B, direct taxes. Honorable Speaker, sir, I now present my proposals on direct taxes. New Income Tax Act. In July 2024, I announced a comprehensive review of the Income Tax Act 1961. This was completed in a record time, and the Income Tax Act 2025 will come into effect from 1st April 2026. The simplified income tax rules and forms will be notified shortly, giving adequate time to taxpayers to acquaint themselves with its requirements. The forms have been redesigned such that ordinary citizens can comply without difficulty. Ease of living. I propose that any interest awarded by the Motor Accident Claims Tribunal to a natural person will be exempt from income tax, and any TDS on this account will be done away with. I propose to reduce TCS rate on the sale of overseas tour program package from the current 5% and 20% to 2% without any stipulation of amount. I propose to reduce TCS rate for pursuing education and for medical purposes under the Liberalized Remittance Scheme, popularly known as LRS, from 5% to 2%. Supply of manpower services is proposed to be specifically brought within the ambit of payment to contractors for the purpose of TDS to avoid ambiguity. Thus, TDS on these services will be at the rate of either 1% or 2% only. I propose a scheme for small taxpayers, wherein a rule-based automated process will enable obtaining a lower or nil deduction certificate instead of filing an application with the assessing officer. For the ease of taxpayer holding securities in multiple companies, I propose to enable depositories to accept Form 15G or Form 15H from the investor and provide it directly to various relevant companies. I propose to extend time available for revising returns from 31st December to up to 31st March with the payment of a nominal fee. I also propose to stagger the timeline for filing of tax returns. Individuals with ITR 1 and ITR 2 returns will continue to file till 31st July, and non-audit business cases or trusts are proposed to be allowed time till 31st August. TDS on sale of immovable property by a non-resident is proposed to be deducted and deposited through resident buyers and his or her PAN-based challan instead of requiring a TAN, which is a temporary accounting number. To address practical issues of small taxpayers like students, young professionals, tech employees, relocated NRIs, and such others, I propose to introduce a one-time 6-month foreign asset disclosure scheme for these taxpayers to disclose income or assets below a certain size. This scheme would be applicable for two categories of taxpayers, namely, A, who did not disclose their overseas income or assets, and B, who disclosed their overseas income and or paid due tax but could not declare the asset acquired. For category A, the limit of undisclosed income or asset is proposed to be up to 1 crore rupees. They need to pay 30% of fair market value of asset or 30% of undisclosed income as tax